As you can see, this garbage disposal isn't working too well. It barely did any damage to this celery. This disposal is old and the chopping blades are worn out, so we're going to replace it with a new one. It's a fairly easy do-it-yourself project. We're going to show you how, so let's get started. The great thing about this project is even though the disposal obviously uses electricity and water, we're going to be able to do our work without having to shut the electricity or the water off, and we're still going to be safe. The first thing I want to do is unplug the disposal from the wall, and now I'm going to remove the dishwasher drain hose. But before I do that, I want to put some towels down just in case there's a little bit of water left over in the hose. To remove this, all I need is a screwdriver, and I'm going to loosen the hose clamp, and then I just want to twist the hose a little bit to get it off so that I don't damage it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is remove this old PVC pipe. The reason I'm doing this is because the connections on the new disposal are in a different spot than on this old disposal. So what we're going to do is cut and install new PVC pipe with the new disposal. So I'm going to loosen these fittings, and this one's pretty tight, so I'm going to use these locking pliers to loosen it. And then I can loosen it the rest of the way with my hand. And this one's not very tight, so I can loosen it with my hand. And then this one right over here. It should just come right out. Well, look what happened. This P-trap is metal and it's old, and apparently it has rusted through. So we're going to have to replace the P-trap along with the disposal. Now I'm going to remove the garbage disposal. This is really fairly easy because this is a quick connect disposal. This is attached to the base of the sink with a rubber seal and this clamp. So all we have to do to remove it is loosen this clamp. Loosen it with a screwdriver. It's spinning around on me, so I'm going to grab it with my hand. Now this should come right off. With the garbage disposal out, I'm going to remove the locking ring and the sink flange. The new disposal comes with a new sink flange, so we're going to replace that also. This is pretty tight, so to loosen it up, I'm going to put a screwdriver right here on one of these tabs and then gently tap it with my hammer to get it started. Once it's started, I should be able to take it the rest of the way off with my hands. Okay, and now I'm going to remove the sink flange. To do this, I'm going to put a 2x4 over the ring so that the force of the hammer is evenly distributed around the ring and so that I don't damage the sink while I'm trying to get it out. I'm just going to gently tap on it with the hammer. Okay, let's get rid of this sink flange. And now I need to remove the plumber's putty so that when I install the new flange, I get a nice tight seal. Next, I'm going to install the new sink flange, and this goes right where the old one came out. All we need to do this is plumber's putty. Just take out a pretty good amount and roll it in your hands, kind of like you would make a snake with clay. I already have one rolled out here, and like I said, you do need quite a bit. And then just push it down right at the bottom of the sink opening. And it doesn't really matter how much excess you have because we can trim that away later on. You need to make sure you have more than you need versus less than you need. I'm going to pull this excess away, and the sink flange fits right down in here. You see how it kind of squeezes up along the side? Well, that's good because we need that to seal it. Now we're ready to install the mounting hardware that's going to hold the garbage disposal in place. This mounting hardware is going to go right over the sink flange. This has 4 parts: the fiber gasket, the metal backup ring, and the metal mounting ring. And then to hold everything in place is a snap ring. Now these 3 pieces just fit together, one right on top of each other, and it's going to be much easier if you put them together first and then slip them over the sink flange. Now to hold all of this hardware in place, like I said, we have this snap ring, and this goes right up over the sink flange. There's a little groove there that it fits in, and that will hold everything in place. With the mounting hardware in place, now I'm going to take a screwdriver and tighten all 3 screws so that the mounting assembly is seated evenly and tightly against the base of the sink. One of the first things you'll notice when you pull out your garbage disposal is whether or not it has a plug. Some do and some don't. Ours didn't. So we bought a cord attachment kit so that we can attach it to the garbage disposal. We simply followed the directions that told us how to attach all of the wiring to the unit. Now I'm ready to attach the disposal to the mounting brackets under the sink. This disposal has 3 mounting ears, and what we want to do is hold this up so that the mounting ears are positioned right under the screws. Then I'm just going to twist it and lock it right into place. I'm ready to install the new PVC pipe. This comes in the disposer kit that we had earlier. I'm going to install this T-piece first, and this goes from the discharge hose on the disposal to the P-trap. Just going to hold this up, and it looks like this piece will fit. Sometimes you may have to cut some of the PVC pipe, or you may have to buy pipe to extend it. But in this case, this one will fit, but it looks like I'm going to have to remove the P-trap after all so that I can put all of the sections together. This T is going to fit right down into the P-trap, but before we put that in, we're going to add the fitting and the plastic sealer. It just fits right down on there. We're going to tighten it a little bit, but not too much. And then the other end is going to go over the discharge hose. And again, before I put that on, I'm going to put the fitting and the plastic sealer. Now I'm going to reattach the P-trap. And then attach it to the discharge tube, and I'm tightening everything just a little bit, but not too much because I will secure it later. I've added this last piece of pipe, and now I'm tightening the fittings. Okay, now I'm going to reattach the dishwasher hose, and this goes on the same way that it came off. Twist it on, and then use a screwdriver to tighten the clamp. Okay, now I'm going to plug it in. I'm trimming the plumber's putty away from the sink flange, and now I'm just going to roll it away with my fingers. This was a fairly simple do-it-yourself project. It only took us a couple of hours, and it will cost you $200 or less depending on which model you choose. Now, as a final test, let's see how it does on that celery.